I have a large collection of arcade games. I wonder how much money it would cost me to complete all of them if it was a real arcade. Only one way to find out. Oh boy, did this fucking game piss me the fucking fuck off. Before we get into this game, I need to clarify. Yes, I know it's December and I'm meant to do Xmas-themed games, but I couldn't find any Christmas arcade games. So I had to resort to a very vague comparison. This guy, big beard, looks like Santa. Is it a good comparison? No, but we're gonna roll with it. Evil Stone is easily the most frustrating, cheap, and downright bullshit of all the games I've covered so far on arcade. It's so goddamn difficult, with a fuck ton of shitty mechanics that really test your fucking patience. Evil Stone is a top-down platformer where you play as a champion of the gods as you fight against the forces of hell that have been unleashed on Earth. And fuck does it truly feel like hell. The attraction sequence starts with God Santa looking judgmentally down at you and telling you that someone has opened the Hell Gate. However, the translation to English from its original language is a bit off, and it sounds like someone rambling and missing out key details in your mission briefing. The heavenly world is in disorder, and someone opens the Hellgate to release the demons and ghost. A singular ghost. Now I cannot in any way do it by myself. Why, you lazy cunt? The man who carries on Buddha's cherished desire. Please have the Order of the Heavens back. Who are you talking about? Am I the man who holds Buddha's cherished desire? Are you asking me to have the Order of the Heaven back? I am so confused right now. Whatever, let's just start the game. Level 1. A hell of a world of a most scandalous scene. So this is you, a blonde monk who looks like everyone's basic of basic Dragon Ball OC. You navigate the levels by jumping on floating stones, using the stick to move and one button to jump in one of 4 directions. So no diagonal jumping even though the platform is right fucking there. Tapping jump lets you do a small jump, and holding jump lets you do a big jump that spans 2 stones. You also have an attack button that you can tap for a weak attack, tap for an attack in the air, or hold for a stronger charged attack. Chances are though, you'll be running from most of your fights rather than fighting. Savior of the heavens everyone, running away from all his problems. While you can't walk off platforms, you can be knocked off, and when you are, you lose a life and are teleported back to the start or a checkpoint. Get used to this is going to be your life for however long you decide to play this game. 2.5 fucking hours for me. Right from the get-go, the game doesn't take it easy on you. You will immediately be swarmed by enemies that gradually increase in number and difficulty as you make your way to the end. With no tutorial, you have to figure out the mechanics, enemy types and rules on the fly. Most of the platforms you land on are safe, but some will crumble almost as soon as you step on them. Sometimes you'll see boulders that float above your head. These can be kicked away, but their main purpose is to block your view or block your jumps. Enemies are endless. Killing one causes another one to spawn somewhere nearby. Sometimes it's off screen, and other times it's right next to you. You can not catch a break, so running is the best option. If you reach the end of a level, you have to face off against a boss. Frustrating as the bosses are, they're frustrating in the right way. They're difficult because they've been designed to be challenging, not difficult for the sake of difficulty, like the regular enemies are. Difficult. I've said it so much it's lost meaning. Difficult, 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 difficult. The first boss, however, is the easiest thing I've had to fight so far. I beat it first try without taking any damage, which is out of the ordinary for me, but if you get a rhythm going, you can easily outrun him and wear him down with cheap shots as you both bounce back and forth between platforms. Level 2. A cave into the human world. Difficulty takes a small but sharp increase here. The areas you've got to maneuver are decreased in size, become more hazardous, and enemies are getting more aggressive in tactics and number. The game really puts pressure on you not to fuck up. Sometimes one mistake is all it takes to die. You don't have a health bar and you're invincible, but when you are hit by an enemy, your character is knocked back. If you end up touching an enemy, you are also knocked back, but all too common situation is that you end up being surrounded and your character will bounce back and forth between 2 or more enemies, trapping you in a loop. To its credit, the game does have a built-in mechanics to help you out of this situation, where it will make you bounce out of the loop in a random direction. which is helpful, but not when it does that. Another piss take situation is that when all the enemies that can float charge you all at once, as they will shove you to a drop, not giving you so much as half a frame to react. These situations happen way too often and are so rage-inducing. Losing because you make a mistake? That's one thing. Losing because the game is full of shit and you have no choice but to lose? That's another. Fuck this game in the arse with a cactus grenade! As I said, the only time this game isn't full of complete shit are the boss battles. Level 2's bosses are a pair of fat-jacked Oni. Both fight by using a breath weapon on you. If they attack from afar, you can avoid their breath by standing at the bottom of the screen. When they attack close though, you have to jump out of the way, forcing yourself into the line of fire of the other Oni. So you need to stay on the move at all times. There is one problem though. My kicks don't reach the enemy. That or their cock flap is made of kick-proof metal. So what do? I have no ranged attack? Can I jump on their platform? Oh shit, I can. That's risky though. What the fuck? I went through the platform I landed on! Fuck this fucking game! Thankfully, I guess, the game does send you back to your most recent checkpoint if you continue after a game over, so I don't need to replay the entirety of the level. Just the bit that's pissing me off. I proceeded to die 5 more times fighting these bosses. At this point I thought, am I doing something wrong? Am I missing a mechanic? And yes, I was. I had forgotten I could charge my attacks. When you charge up your kick, it causes your leg to extend further, and thank fuck I remembered to do that because it made this boss so much easier. Because not only can I reach them now, it knocks them back so I can avoid their breath weapon. Come here, you little bastard. I'm gonna kick that flap so far up your dickhole it'll be your new tongue. As their health gets lower, the Onis will start to attack faster, sometimes not even taking a breath before shooting. Fortunately, they each have their own health, so blue is still chill, while red is freaking the fuck out. However, when one of them dies, things get worse. The surviving Oni will then start to charge and teleport around to keep up with you, and attacking quickly regardless how much health he has left. 3 tries later, and I did it. That took way too fucking long. Level 3, the human world in all its vanity. Your condescending boss encourages you to press on. I'm really not wanting to though. The difficulty spikes up again and the problems you had before get even worse. So fuck it, just run. I was pretty sure that was all I would be doing, until I found this. As you play, you'll find these bubbles with a P inside. Collecting a blue one reduces this number by 1, and a gold one reduces it by 3. Once this number hits 0, your charged attack increases in power and gains new properties. What was once a rubber leg is now a ki blast. And you know what? Things were a lot easier to kill, and I had no idea that this was a thing. So I had an idea. Start the game again from level 1 and farm power-ups until I have max power, cause anything is better than this rubber leg attack. The number of power orbs you need increases every upgrade, so it took a while, but it really did help. The charge attack goes from being a rubber leg, to a long-range ki blast, to a 3-way forward ki blast, to a 4-directional ki blast that killed the first and second level bosses in record time. Then finally, at max power, you get a roundhouse. And it's shit! True, I can attack in all directions now, but the range I had with the ki blast was far superior. I have to get closer to kick enemies now. Fuck's sake. Start again. Right, this time, I'm not going any higher than the 4-way ki blast. After grinding and shooting my way back to the 3rd level, navigating its anxiety-ridden level design, I made it to the boss. This boss isn't hard, but it is tricky. It will shoot rocks out in 1 or 2 patterns, center, left, right, or all 3 at once. Hitting him isn't the hard part. He moves along the stage, giving you a wide space to move into, and you can start kicking the side of his face. Stay there too long and the boss will literally headbutt you off the stage. Kicking it causes it to retreat off the stage for a short while it tries to attack you from out of reach, though these attacks are easily avoided. The tricky part is avoiding his attacks the rest of the time. You can jump over his boulders, but the speed of your jump can affect your judgment and you might catch a single pixel of the boulder, which is enough to knock you back. Or through the stage! If you can get the timing down for the jump and find the occasional safe space between his attacks, he is a pushover. Never have I been so satisfied to be literally kicking a boss's face in. Level 4, the Angry Waves of the Dead Spirit World. What the fuck is this shit? An enemy that can attack diagonally? How do I deal with that? Maybe the roundhouse kick, but that attack is only good here. Look how little room I've got to maneuver as well to avoid these douchebags. Oh, this game! The enemies are easily the worst thing about this game. Most of them are a massive irritant that really push your buttons. The visual variety is quite large, some of which I recognise from Asian folklore and mythology, like the Kappa. Mechanically, however, the enemies lack variety. Types of enemies are categorised as chasers, floaters, and turrets. Chasers will follow you along the stones and attempt to get in your way and trapping you in loops to knock you off. Floaters are enemies that can move freely along the stages in groups, making a wall to push you to the edges. And turrets will stay in place launching a ranged attack at you. Sometimes the enemies will have a slight variety to their tactics which will match their appearance, with maybe a few additional qualities to them. But they all feel similar and it's disappointing at least, piss take at best. Some are hard to fight because of the situations they're in, example being the Kappas. They stand on solid platforms surrounded by crumbling platforms, so you have to jump over them constantly to avoid falling and their attacks. If their enemies were more like this, then it wouldn't be so bad, because this is actually tactics rather than relying on blind luck. But that would make the game good. The boss of this level? Very easy if you have the Ki Blast. Another boss where you need a rhythm, and the only attack this boss had was to throw his head at me. Fighting this boss was actually a bit of nice stress relief, and I did it on the first try. Level 5, a cave into the heavenly world. What a creepy looking level. To say something positive about this game, the graphics are very good. A lot of the movements are smooth and the flow of the frames is excellent. The flip of the character looks good. The details on the boss's animations look good. Enemies look okay. Sometimes they are limited to a few frames of animation, are almost static images that float around, but the best thing about these graphics? We have a great arse. Some of the backgrounds look really nice too. This level is full of chaser enemies, so the best tactic is to run, and keep running, because fighting starts to feel like a frustrating slog at this point. Even the music sounds fed up. The sound and music of this game are a mixture of boring and irritating. The music is a selection of notes played on repeat over and over, and you get sick of hearing them pretty quick, perfectly complementing your motivation to keep playing. You'll get sick of the sound effects too. Hearing the same noises of damage and death over and over will drive you insane as they haunt your dreams. There is actually a segment I like in this level. It's where I have to fight these gargoyle-like creatures as the floor threatens to fall under me. I like it because it's actually a skill-based section with no distractions from crappy and cheap enemies. Now it feels like an enjoyable game outside of the bosses. Speaking of, this boss is another one where you can get a rhythm going and defeat him easily. It's a hell of a lot easier with Ki Blast, and the boss can't even reach you if you stay on the back row. An easy victory, but one mistake would have cost me. Final level, and oh boy, does it get surprisingly easier. A final level that's easier than the ones before it? That is what I'm saying. It doesn't start off like that. With very little safe platforms, lots of crumbling platforms, and floating spirits trying to ram you, it takes a lot of shooting and well-timed dodges to navigate here. But then after a segment of very minimal floater enemies, the enemies just vanish. Weirdly, the part of the level before the final boss is eerily quiet. It's a section focused purely on platforming and no one and nothing is trying to stop you. I went all the way through thinking something was going to jump out and get me, but nothing. It was quite a surreal experience considering what the rest of the game was like up until this point. It was simply a clean hop, skip and many jumps to the boss. The boss itself is also unusually easy. This is probably because of the Ki Blast, but Ki Blast is OP, don't nerf. The boss is able to teleport around on its half of the screen and has two easily avoidable attacks. A straight Ki Blast and one that goes in a zigzag taking up 3 columns of platforms. When you see him charging it up, it is ever so easy to move out of the way in time. The hardest part is trying not to fall off. But again, you just gotta feel the rhythm. Thanks to my Ki Blast, this boss was easy because I just had to stay in one corner, get the rhythm going, and keep attacking him whenever I could. And if I got hit by his Ki Blast, it didn't matter because I was always on the front row, so I got knocked back to the back row and my rhythm could just keep going. But I don't trust this. This is too easy. There's gotta be a catch, right? Right? Well, guess what? There is. This was the final level, but this is not the final boss. God Santa has betrayed us and has decided to try and kill us for some reason. He says it's because he wants us to repent for our faultless act and attempts to kill us. So he wants to kill us because we did something faultless for the people around us? What a douchebag! So as you can see, God Santa is fuck tons harder than the last boss. He has a 3-way fireball attack that you can destroy with your Ki Blast or dodge over. But they have a huge hit detection range, and if you get hit once, it's all over. Not only that, but the floors you're standing on are also fallaways, so it's going to be a hard fight. Wait, what? 4 hits? He's either very weak, or his health carries over after you die, even after a game over. So on my 3rd attempt, I took him down in 4 hits. Unless he's actually that piss weak, I think his health carried over. Well, at least it was a potential bug in my favour. With God Santa defeated, he congratulates us? Well done for defeating me, you still can't repent for your faultless act though. He then tells us that the heavens are saved and we see an ending sequence of our character doing a halo dive straight into Earth. Thank fuck, that's over. I am never touching this game again. It's frustrating, bullshit, and nothing but an obvious con machine. It's not all bad though. It's a very pretty game and using Ki Blast makes it easier and more enjoyable, but its difficulty for the sake of difficulty ideology, unfair enemies, and dull, uninspired music make it a bore, a slog, and a rage-inducing experience. If you like games that like to butt-fuck you as hard as it can, then yeah, give this one a try. But I hate this game. I think it's shit, all it did was make me mad, and I'm glad I am never coming back to it. And that was Evil Stone. Thanks for watching everyone. Join me next time when I will be striking people as a smooth criminal.